football and stuff. Thanks for joining in. Hello. Don't worry, I'm here. Nice. So a Tuesday, Monday deadline, Tuesday deadline. So a Monday Q&A this weekend. So I think that a lot of FPL managers will be caught off by this midweek deadline, especially seeing that it's the first double game week of the season, Tuesday deadline, and this is the reason why there is a Monday night Q&A this game week. I've gone from 250 to 750k. Ooh, how many points did you get in game week 25? I had a really small green arrow this game week, like 50k green arrow, 70 points. I was a bit annoyed by the fact that Van Hecke didn't start, but they conceded against Crystal Palace, so it wouldn't have mattered that much. I got Mosquera in with 1 point. Van Hecke could potentially, of course, have gotten defensive contribution points, but most probably would have had 2 points only, so not that big of a deal. $60 points, so it's not that bad. 60 points. I've taken a hit and I've done Jared Bowen and Van Hecke to Groupie Jr. and Gabriel. I think getting Gabriel in probably is a good idea. His effective ownership will be massive in double game week 26. I think he will be heavily captained and triple captain as well, so there will be a new record effective ownership for Gabriel and the Arsenal defense in double game week 26, considering that there will be a lot of managers tripling up on their defense as well. I think it's vital having one, at maybe even 2 defenders from Arsenal this game week. Is it worth the hit? I think it's probably worth a hit for Gabriel in this game week. Will you use triple captain or no? And what do you think about Gabriel triple captain? I will most probably use my triple captain. I think Gabriel is a good shout. What I'm really considering at the moment is actually if I will use my triple captain on Gabriel or Rice. So there are positives with both of them. Things that it will be really frustrating watching the Arsenal games with Gabriel triple captain if they concede early on against Nottingham Forest. Rice on set pieces, taking corners for Arsenal. He has a lot of rooster points. He looked really good in game week 25 as well, got defensive contribution points, so I'm still undecided between Rice or Gabriel, but definitely both of them really good options. The reason why I'm leaning towards using my triple captain this game week is that it looks like double game week 33 will be the biggest double game week this season. I will most probably use my bench boost this game week. The next double will most probably be in double game week 36, and this is really late in the season. The season might actually be wrapped up at that point and we might see more rotation. So this is the reason why I'm leaning towards playing my triple captain this game week. What's your rank? Let's see. My rank at the moment is 640k. So not great, but considering the fact that I actually had the worst first game week in history. So I was like 9.6 million after the first game week. Took a couple of punts. Captain Jared Bowen against Sunderland. So a really bad start, but at least with a bad start, there's more green arrows. You captaining Rice? I'm leaning towards Rice, and I'm leaning towards activating the triple captain as well. we'll activate the triple captain for now, and it's on Rice at the moment. Rice didn't have any attacking returns for a while. True, but I think it's been a bit unlucky. He's taken some shots. He has decent expected goal involvement numbers. We know that he will take set pieces, so there is actually a 50% chance that if Gabriel scores, Rice will at least have the assist, considering that Gabriel will most probably score from a corner if he gets any attacking returns. So I think there are good arguments for going both Gabriel and Rice. And I think there is really good. I think there are really good arguments for using the chip this game week as well. Luca, thanks for joining in. How are you? After game week 1, I was 5 million. So game week 1, 5 million. And at this point, so you wrote your rank a bit up. I think to scroll a bit up. You said your rank took a hit, so it's from 250 to 650k, so similar rank. But there are a lot of game weeks left. Still time to have a good season. It's me, Luca, on another account. Nice, thanks for joining in. I kind of remember that name, even though it's a bit different, so thanks for joining in. It will be a 50-50, I guess. I think that the safest play in double game week 26, if you have decided to use a triple captain, the safest play would probably be to use it on Gabriel. He will have the highest effective ownership, so I think that Rice is more of a punt, even though I think that Rice is still a safe option. I think he will start both games. He can hopefully play close to 90 minutes. So I think that Rice is a really, really good option. More of a differential compared to Gabriel. So this is one of the reasons why I'm leaning towards Rice at the moment. What about buying Calafiori instead of Timber? I mean, 0.8, it's a big difference. I think in double game week 26, both Timber and Calafiori, they might actually see some rotation. I think that considering that Calafiori has been out injured, so I think he's probably a bit more at risk when we consider his expected minutes in the double. Will be really frustrating investing in Calafiori. You're saying that he's 0.8 cheaper than Timber, but still quite expensive, right? So of course, it could be genius. Calafiori might be the Arsenal defender with the most points after double game week 26 as well. You never know, but I think that probably Gabriel is the safest one. And we have Saliba, Timber, and Calafiori. Would you bring in Sar for Areola or Mosquera for Heaven? I have Van Heike too, and I plan to start him, so thinking Mosquera. I actually like Mosquera for this double. He has some sort of attacking threat. I think it's a good punt. I have Mosquera myself. The thing is that if he gets a yellow card in the first game, he will not play the second fixture, so there is a risk involved going Mosquera as well, but at that price, I think it's probably worth the risk, to be honest. I have Van de Ven, Van Hekke on the bench as well. I'm not really interested in playing them ahead of a double game week player, so the decision for me in double game week 26 is actually, do I use my triple captain on Rice or Gabriel? And do I start Igor Thiago or Elliot Anderson? So at the moment, I'm actually benching Igor, Thiago. I think it will be a tough game for Brentford playing against Arsenal. And Elliot Anderson, he has done really well recently. He's like nailed on for 4 points. He has picked up defensive contributions in his last 6-7 games, something like that. So a bit boring, of course, Elliot Anderson, but same as with Rice, he's on some set pieces for Nottingham Forest. So hopefully game week 26 will be the game week where we get defensive contributions and an assist. Of course. I think I actually looked at Sa myself, the goalkeeper, Wolves goalkeeper. He can potentially be a nice differential for double game week 26, but I think probably the upside of going for Mosquera, considering the fact that he can get defensive contributions and attacking returns. I think I will probably go for this, considering they are both low owned, they are both cheap. I don't really think that it's that much of a risk taking a punt with your Wolves defensive asset. But yeah, Calafiori, a bit too risky for rotation, in my opinion. Yeah, I think considering that he has been injured, I think it's probably a bit risky bringing him in. I think if you have Calafiori, definitely keep him, start him for double game week 26, but I wouldn't really consider bringing in Calafiori at this point. Football and stuff, I have Sanchez, O'Reilly, Timber, Gabriel, Senesi, Garner, Bruno Fernandes, Rice, Enzo, Holland, Krupi Jr., bench, Verbruggen, Anderson, Thiago, Schade, Gabriel, triple captain. I really like this team, close to what I'm doing. Of course, I leaning towards Rice, but I think, as mentioned, that Gabriel is probably the safest option. Triple up on Arsenal, same as my team with Timber, Gabriel, and Rice. Enzo Fernandez, Holland, Krupa Jr. is a solid option as well. Thiago on the bench. I think this will be a green arrow for double game week 26. Will we get into the top 100k from 650 to 100? I'm not really sure, because I think that considering that this is a double game week with Arsenal involved, I think there will be a lot of teams tripled up on Arsenal, especially around your rank from 650k and down. So having Arsenal defenders will definitely not be a differential. I think, on the other hand, that if you don't have any Arsenal defenders, or if you only have one of them, this will probably hurt your rank. What percent of people are triple captaining Gabriel? So there are no official numbers as of yet when it comes to the captaincy for the next game week, but from what I've seen on X, I think there will be a lot of triple captains on Gabriel this game week. What I can say is that his effective ownership will definitely be well above 100%. So we have seen this season Erling Haaland actually reach 200% effective ownership. I'm not sure if Gabriel will reach those heights, but at least 150, I'd say. Hello, I have Sanchez, Timber, Gabriel, triple captain, Enzo, Rice, Bruno Fernandes, Mbumo, Joao Pedro, Haaland, and Krupi Jr. on the bench, Dubravka, Wilson, Gudmundsson, and Mukiele. I want to get the furthest I can in the EFL Cup. Would you recommend any transfers? Opponent's team looks tough. I think your team looks really tough as well. Sanchez in goal, Timber, Gabriel, triple captain on Gabriel, Enzo Fernandez, Rice, Bruno Fernandes, Mbumo, Joao Pedro, Haaland, Krupi Jr. think this team looks really good. Maybe to be a bit aggressive, you can consider something like selling Wilson to bring in Sar, Crystal Palace midfielder, potentially start him ahead of Groupie Jr. But I think with this team, it's probably just the play is probably just to save a transfer. Looks SC, I'm around 50k, pretty set on triple captaining Gyökeres as a differential. Looks better with Havertz in the team and Martinelli Madueke much more traditional in terms of crossing. Minutes, slight risk. I think Gyökeres is a really good option. I think that there's not that much talk about Gyökeres because a lot of teams are already triple up on Arsenal, so we don't really have the possibility to consider Gyökeres, to be honest. But if I only had 2 Arsenal players in my team, I would definitely consider a way to bring in Gyökeres. So as you can see in the graphics on the right hand side as well, 71% chance of a Gyökeres goal. He was actually the bookie's favorite ahead of gameweek 25 as well, and even though he started on the bench, he did well. So I think he will at least start one of the games, can potentially play 60-70 minutes in the second game, but Gyökeres definitely a really good option. As mentioned, I think one of the reasons why he's not talked about that much is the fact that a lot of teams are already tripled up on Arsenal. 6 goals in 2026 looks much improved in my opinion. Yeah, definitely. And at the time when we got the information about triple up, when we got the information about a double game week for Arsenal, Gyökeres, he wasn't really in that. Well, he wasn't out of form, but he was even more of a minutes risk considered to what is at this point. The thing is that Gabriel Jesus, he's still there. He will play some minutes. They can, of course, play on the pitch together as well, but I think they will share minutes. And Gabriel Jesus, he has started a couple of games in the last game weeks as well. So I think that Gyökeres will start one, and I think that Gabriel Jesus will start one of the games in the double as well. So of course, as long as you're like prepared for a Gyökeres benching in one of the games, I think it's a good punt. Of course, they will be really close to the opponent's goal. He is a traditional number 9 in the box all of the time. Will get chances. He has looked sharper recently as well, so I actually think that Gyökeres is a decent punt with the captaincy in double game week 26. DM McDonald, my team this week, Martinez in goal, Timber, Chalobah, Gabriel triple captain. So another one with Gabriel triple captain. So I talked about, I've seen a lot of Gabriel triple captainers posting on X. Gabriel, he is the leader in the poll at the moment, and in the chat we already had 4 teams with Gabriel triple captain. So I think his effective ownership will be really, really high. So Timber, Chalobah, Gabriel, Rice, Rogers, Semenyo, Bruno Guimaraes in midfield, and up front Allen Ekitike and Joe Pedro. Dubravka, Cash, Michele, Anton Stach on the bench. Thoughts? I think this team looks really good. It's a bit top heavy with Erling Haaland, Ekitike, and Joe Pedro, so a lot of funds invested up front, but I think for the upcoming game weeks, this looks really good. I think that a lot of managers have shifted their budget from the attack to their midfield, but I think that considering the fixtures for Liverpool having Ekitike, I think I'm not really sure if I would bring Ekitike in this game week, but he is definitely a keep if you have Ekitike at this point. So I think this team looks really good. Triple up on Arsenal. I think you're set for double game week 26. Timber, Gabriel, triple captain, Rice, Rogers, Emmanuel, Bruno G. So what's probably lacking in this team is potentially cover from the Man United attack. They have looked really good and they have a decent fixture in double game week 26 as well, playing against West Ham. So that's the price you have to pay to have those forwards. No Mbumo, no Bruno Fernandes in midfield, but I don't really think that any of the players in your front line ahead of the next game week are a sell. So probably just save a transfer, reassess ahead of game week 27. All right, thanks. Hope my team makes me further in the cup. Yeah, best of luck still in the cup. That's a great achievement. I got knocked out in the second round of the cup this season. But I actually remember a season where I did really well in the cup myself, and it's really, really exciting. There are some good prizes for the cup as well, so best of luck in the cup. Today, I bought Sar instead of Saka, so now I can take one player from Arsenal. I got Rice, Gabriel, who do you think would probably be the best option? Timber, his minutes aren't guaranteed. Things that if you want another defender, I think that definitely Raya and Saliba are the safest options. Timber, I like Timber to be honest. He was yellow flagged ahead of game week 25, but he started, he looked good. I think he definitely will start one of the games in the double. We have discussed Calafiore as well. I actually think that Timber is even safer compared to Calafiore. So Raya is probably the safest option. We have Saliba as a really safe but a bit boring option. Timber, Calafiore, and if you actually have the possibility to bring in Gyökeres, as discussed 5 minutes ago, I think that he could be a really good differential in double game week 26 as well. Don't think it's worth saving it until another double game week later in the season. Personally, City's league season could be done, could be prioritizing Champions League and or FA Cup. Then yeah, that's one of the reasons why I actually have decided to play the triple captain this game week. So the next good game week will be in double game week 33. This will probably be the biggest double game week, and I will use my bench boost. So the next double game week after double game week 33 will be in double game week 36, and this is probably a bit too late. So I definitely agree with DM McDonald. I think there is a risk that Man City, if they have a double, they can prioritize Champions League, the FA Cup, as the league might actually be over. Virat Kohli, thanks for joining in. Going to work my way to United players soon once Chelsea's good fixtures are over after game week 28. Might look to bring in a United player into midfield. Yeah, I think this is where the value is when we consider Man United attackers at the moment. So the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Mbumo, Cunha all look like solid options at the moment. So especially after the injury to Dorgu, I think that Cunha probably is a bit better. So Bruno Fernandes, of course, he is a bit expensive. His price has gone up, but he is the talisman for Man United on most set pieces, including penalties. So Bruno Fernandes, if you can get to him in a couple of game weeks, he is probably the best option. He can get defensive contributions, and he will play close to 90 minutes week in, week out. So the thing is, with both Cunha and Mbumo, we have seen this. Cunha, he has been benched a couple of game weeks. He can potentially be benched, and Carrick might start Sesko up front. So Bruno Fernandes is probably the best Man United player to target at the moment. Bro, you should do Enzo Fernandez to Utara? Django Utara? Can you show us a good wildcard 33 with 15 double game week players? Ooh. So I was trying to... I was trying to figure out how to use Plan FPL in the browser here last week, but let's see if we can make this work. Not really sure if this... Can't seem to fit the whole picture into the screen. Let's see if we can... Sorry, I haven't done this before, so need to be a bit patient. So what I'm actually trying to do is to look ahead to see in double game week 33 to see if we can get a nice bench boost team. So the thing is that we're not 100% sure that or which teams will have a double. It looks really likely that Man City and Crystal Palace will have a double game week in game week 33. So the teams that are still in the FA Cup and still in Champions League and Europe League as well, the chances are really high that they will have a double game week 33 as well. So Crystal Palace, Man City, they will blank in game week 31, and the best possible date for them to reschedule this fixture is in double game week 33. The reason why there are a lot of other teams that will most probably have a double this game week is the fact that in game week 34 there will be a blank, and all of the teams that will participate in the FA Cup and who have a midweek game as well, they will not be able to play in game week 34. So this fixture will most probably be moved ahead and played in double game week 33. So this is the reason why this game week, double game week 33, most probably will be the biggest double game week so far this season. What team do you support? I actually support the team that at this point have won 4 games in a row. So new heights, at least for a while, for Man United, and hopefully we can get this guy to cut his hair and secure the 5th win in a row for Man United. I think I just need to have a look at a possible wildcard team for game week 32. I haven't really spent that much time considering which players I will target in game week 32, but it will at least be a couple of Man City players, a couple of Crystal Palace So the team that win against, so Newcastle and Aston Villa, they will play against each other in the 5th round of the FA Cup. So the team that win this game will most probably have a double as well. Chelsea have a great chance of doubling in game week 33. So we'll have a closer look and we can hopefully discuss a possible game week 32 wildcard next time. Team review. So if you're interested, head over to X, post a picture of your team, and we'll get it up on the screen for a team review. So if you have posted on X, please let me know in the chat as well. I tend to forget to check X, so I'm terribly sorry. So after the last couple of streams, I have like just rambled around my own team and answered questions in the chat and totally forgot to check X. So if you post on X, please let me know in the chat, as Virat Kohli just did. Jared Bowen to turn into R9 in 2 days. I was a bit... can't say disappointed, because he has actually delivered recently, but I was a bit disappointed in Jared Bowen that he did not deliver any attacking returns in game week 25, especially considering that they scored 2 goals. He's usually involved when West Ham does well, so a bit frustrating for Jared Bowen owners, but as mentioned, he has done well in game week 23, attacking return against Chelsea with a goal as well, so can't really complain about Jared Bowen at this point. So Magnus actually posted his team 2 hours ago, so let me know if you're still here in the chat. 24 minutes, 9 minutes. Let's have a look at Lucas' team ahead of double game week 26. So how's that? So let's see if we can just get the bench in the picture. So with this team, it's Raya in goal, Lewis Hall in defense, Virgil van Dijk, and the captaincy is on Gabriel, Bruno Fernandes, NGI, Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, Garner, Ekitike, and Erling Haaland. Anderson, Rodon, Mark Guiu on the bench. So let's see. Maybe you wrote this as a comment, but let me know, how many transfers do you have and how much in the bank? So let's see. Lewis Hall, probably a sell. Tough fixtures for Newcastle coming up, and it is actually quite expensive. NGI, Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, Garner, Ekitike, and Erling Haaland. I talked about Ekitike. He's definitely a keep at this point. Some good features for Liverpool coming up. He looks like he will get good minutes. Alexander Isak, not a threat at the moment. 1 free transfer, only 0.4 in the bank, so it's not possible to bring in an Arsenal defender for Lewis Hall. Which is quite frustrating, because I can't get to some of the assets I want with just 1 free transfer. So with this team, Luka, he already has Raya in goal, so it's a double up on Arsenal. Need to find a way possibly to triple up on Arsenal for their good fixtures in double game week 26. I can't really see any easy way to bring in the third Arsenal player without selling some of your good midfielders. So I wouldn't like to sell Bruno Fernandes. Of course, you want to keep Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, decent game at home against Leeds as well. So there are a couple of... I think that one of the Liverpool players has to go to avoid the hit, to be honest. Maybe something like Virgil van Dijk to Saliba and possibly Ekitike to Gyökeres as a punt. Oh, 0.4 in the bank, so it's not much you can do with NGI. Probably something like NGI to Subimendi. I haven't really checked Subimendi's price, to be honest. Radu Gavriluta, thanks for joining in. Hi, can you look at my team and tell me if I should make any transfers? I have 3 free transfers, 0 in the bank ID. I will definitely have a look at your team, but we have some other teams posted on X as well, so we'll have a look at them as well. So with this team, I can't really see any easy way to bring in the third Arsenal player without taking a hit. I'm really sorry, but Van Dijk to someone like Saliba, possibly Ekitike to Gyökeres, even though I think Ekitike possibly is a sell. But of course, if you sell Ekitike, you probably don't have that much invested in Ekitike, so you can potentially bring him back. The thing is that in game week 31, we know that Arsenal will blank, so at some point we will have to start offloading Arsenal players. So bringing Ekitike back in for Gyökeres might be a good idea. Would you consider a hit to bring in someone like Timber or Rice? You can potentially do something like Lewis Hall to a cheap defender and upgrade NGI to Rice. At least those two are the players that potentially can leave your team. Garner is too cheap. Anderson, Rodon, Mark Gui, so not that much to play with on the bench as well. NGI, Lewis Hall. Possibly bring in Hill, the Bournemouth defender, at 3.9. This can potentially give you enough for NGI to Rice. Feel like Arsenal will concede to Brentford. Catboy. Can, of course, happen. I'm actually, at the moment, I'm benching Igor Thiago for this game, so I have the feeling that Arsenal will do well this game weekend. I think it's a big risk going without at least a double up on the Arsenal defense, considering the fact that Gabriel will be triple captain by a lot. There will be some FPL managers with 4 Arsenal defenders in double game week 36. So if they keep a clean sheet, possibly 2 clean sheets, your rank will take a big hit if you only have 1 Arsenal defender. Could be a nice option. I'm 0.1 off Lewis Holter, Richards, and Njai to Rice, which is frustrating. Richards, good option. I like Hill as well, and he's actually even cheaper. You can think that if you have, you will still have Anderson, the Fulham centre back, in a rotation with Hill. Can potentially play Rodon as well in the easy Leeds fixtures. You think that weakens my defense too much? I think your defense is strong enough, to be honest. You have Van Dijk, you have Gabriel. Anderson, Hill in a rotation is... So we will start Van Dijk and Gabriel most game weeks, and you have a rotation between 2 or even 3 decent options. So Rodon will play week in, week out. You have Anderson, you can play him in the easier fixtures, especially at home for Fulham and Bournemouth. They have really good fixtures coming up, so I don't think your defense will be too weak. And this is actually a good way to triple up on Arsenal and bring in Rice. So definitely something to consider. A -4 hit. Lewis Hall and Jai out to bring in Rice and a defender in rotation with Anderson and Rodon. Other options that we have discussed so far is to sell Ekitike to bring in Gyökeres. Another option is to sell Van Dijk to bring in Saliba. So let us know in the chat which option would you prefer. We'll have a look at a couple of other teams as well. Magnus, let me know if you're still here. Team posted on X 2 hours ago, so if you're interested in having your team reviewed, head over to X. It's the same handle as here on YouTube. It's at fpltfs. Find this post, double game week 26, and post a picture of your team. I always remember to read the comments as well. So let's see, no comment on this one. So let's have a look at the team. There we go. Sanchez in goal. Anderson, Tarkovsky, Gabriel. We have Rice, so it's a double up on Arsenal. And Mbeumo, Rodgers, Sar, Krupi Jr., Jared Bowen, Erling Haaland. Shirky on the bench, Tiav and Mukiele. FPL polls. My polls also suggest triple captain to be popular. I think it kind of makes sense triple captaining this game week, especially given that a lot will probably use their bench boost in game week 33. Yeah, or Ekitike to Gyökeres. I think that if you bring in Gyökeres, he should potentially be the captain. I like the idea of captaining Gyökeres. We discussed this like 15 minutes ago as well. I think that the reason why Gyökeres is not that much talked about ahead of double game week 26 is probably the fact that a lot of teams already have 3 Arsenal players and don't really have the possibility to bring in Gyökeres. So Gyökeres definitely want to consider for the captaincy if you own him. So this is Weird Colley's team, 1.1 million and 2 free transfers. We should potentially, as with Lucas' team, try to see if there are possibility to bring in other Arsenal assets. Who to get? Is a triple needed? I think potentially a triple Arsenal is close to being needed in double game week 26. They will be heavily owned. Only one Arsenal defender can potentially hurt your rank if they keep a clean sheet. And seeing that you have the captaincy on Jared Bowen, I'm not sure if I would go for Jared Bowen this game week. I think captaining an Arsenal player definitely makes sense. So for me, I'm actually considering the triple captain this game week, and it's between Gabriel and Rice. I'm leaning towards Rice, so he will probably be my triple captain this game week. So a way to bring in another Arsenal player, you can potentially just do something like Tiav or Tarkovsky to Saliba, potentially. FPL Pulse, you're like me with only one Arsenal defender, so triple captain also covers multiple clean sheets. Yeah, this is Virat Kohli's team, FPL Pulse. I think there is a bit of a risk going with only one Arsenal defender. Don't worry about double Arsenal defense, just go triple captain. So FPL Pulse is suggesting that you can potentially just have Gabriel in your team, keep Rice in midfield, of course, and I think Sanchez is a really good option. So doing Sanchez to Raya, I'm not really a big fan of this move. With this team, you actually have the possibility to do something like Jared Bowen to Gyökeres. Of course, West Ham, Jared Bowen, they have a couple of good fixtures coming up, but Man United, they have looked better recently, can do well against West Ham. I can potentially see a fifth consecutive Man United win against West Ham, so FPL Lisa, hi, thanks for joining in. Sandri Value, hi mate. Maybe, but is he a starter? Gyökeres, I think he at least will start one of the games in double game week 26. Can potentially, of course, be benched in the second fixture, but I think he will play at least 30 minutes. Who to bench with this team? I think I would probably start. Ooh. So I think it's with this team you have Krupa Jr. playing against Tarkovsky, and you have Erling Haaland playing against Anderson. I think I potentially would bench Anderson and play Shirky ahead of Krupa Jr. So Krupa Jr., Anderson, Mukiele on the bench. At least that would be my setup for double game week 26. I would be tempted to sell Tarkovsky and bring in Saliba as well. Even though FPL Pulse, not a big fan of doubling up on the Arsenal defense, but I think having at least two Arsenal defenders makes sense this game week. All it takes is one Arsenal clean sheet and your rank will take a big hit if you only have one defender. So with this team, my advice would be to sell Tarkovsky, bring in Saliba, put Anderson on the bench, start Tiav, Shirky in for Krupa Jr. possibly as well. Because Shirky, he was benched in game week 25. I think he will start for Man City at home against Fulham. This might be a really good fixture for Ryan Shirky. So I don't really see any other players I would bench in this team. Erling Haaland, Jared Bowen, both nailed on penalties. Sar, really good fixture at home against Burnley. Rodgers looked really good in game week 25, got a goal as well, and Bumo playing against West Ham, and Rice with a double game week. So if you want to play Ryan Shirky, it has to be Krupi Jr. dropping to the bench. What about captain? So I would definitely go for one of the Arsenal guys. Not Saliba if you bring him in, but Gabriel, considering his attacking threat, DEFCON potential, and clean sheet potential as well. I think he is a really good captain option. His effective ownership will be quite high. Definitely a new record for Gabriel this game week. I think Gabriel, even though he is a defender, he will probably be the safest captain option in double game week 26. I'm leaning towards Rice. He will be a bit more of a differential. At least that's my thinking at the moment. Sandri Baloo, my team for this week is Raya Micheli, Gabriel Richards, Harry Wilson, Fernandes, Bruno G, Rice, Alan Thiago, and Ekitiki. Thoughts? I think this team looks good. I'm actually, at the moment, I'm benching Thiago because they have a tough game against Arsenal. Seeing that you have double Arsenal defense, can take a punt, bench Thiago, and play if you have, at least if you have a decent option on your bench as well. Wilson, not the best fixture for Fulham, playing away against Man City. But I don't really think that any transfer is required ahead of the next game week. You already have a triple up on Arsenal. So Rice, see, does this mean that Rice is your captain? Probably does. Triple captain or save triple captain. I think that triple captain is a really good chip this game week. I have mentioned this a couple of times, but I think that in game week 33 we will have the biggest double game week and potentially a really good game week to play the bench boost. The next double game week will be in game week 36. The thing is that Man City, they are one of the teams that potentially can have a double in double game week 36. The thing is that the season might be wrapped up at this point. We might see more rotation. Man City, if they're still in the Champions League, FA Cup, they might actually prioritize those cups if there's nothing to play for in the league. So I think that double game week 26 actually is a really good game week for the triple captaincy. I have Anderson. Any suggested transfers? Can potentially, so at least we're in a similar position. Sandri, I'm actually playing Elliot Anderson ahead of Igor Thiago this game week. Of course, there is a risk involved. We know that Igor Thiago, he will start up front for Brentford. It is a home game for Brentford. We know that Igor Thiago is on penalties as well. So, of course, there is a risk involved in benching Igor Thiago, considering his ownership as well. But I think at this point we need to take some risks. And of course, if you have a double up on the Arsenal defense as well, I think it makes sense taking a punt with Igor Thiago on the bench. FPL Cortex, thanks for joining in. Evening, people. Thoughts on triple captaining Rice? I'm actually leaning towards triple captaining Rice, so I totally get this idea. So at the moment in the poll, Gabriel, he is the favorite, 58%. 11% for Rice triple captaincy, and 31% have voted that they will not play their triple captain. So seeing over on X as well, there are a lot of teams talking about triple captaining Gabriel. I think that triple captaining Rice is a nice differential next game week, so I definitely support triple captaining Rice. So as mentioned with this team, Ryan Shirky, I think I would start Shirky in game week 26 at home against Fulham. The only player in your midfield and won't bench Jared Bowen or Erling Haaland, so it has to be Krupi Jr. dropping to the bench. Ryan Shirky in. It definitely makes sense to not have Anderson in your starting 11. Tough game away against Man City for Anderson and Fulham, and especially if you have a double up on the City attack. Anderson, he should definitely be benched in double game week 26. I don't really remember how much you have in the bank, but Tarkovsky to Timber, Tarkovsky to Saliba. Could be a good move this game week. Do you think Martinelli will start? Could be a good differential. Definitely, he could be a good differential, especially seeing the rumors about the Trossard injury. But will Martinelli play 90 minutes? I don't think so. He can potentially start one of the games, be benched for the second, but it could be a good differential. You just have to be prepared for limited minutes for Martinelli. But of course, he has the quality to do really well. He has looked a bit better in the last couple of games for Arsenal as well. But of course, there is also a slight risk that Martinelli actually might start both games in double game with 26 on the bench. No attacking returns, and he will get 2 points in total. So that would be really, really frustrating. And kind of a wasted Arsenal spot for what is actually a good double game week for Arsenal, even though both fixtures are away. I think that playing against Brentford and Wolves are good games for Arsenal. So personally, I would not bring in Martinelli. The same goes for Madueke. Not really a big fan of him at the moment, considering that they have a lot of options. So even though if Trossard will miss one of the games, I think there will be some rotation for Arsenal. The same goes for Gyökeres, actually, even though he did well when he came on in game week 25. And I think he will start in the first game in double game week 26, but we might see Gabriel Jesus starting against Wolves. We should bench boost with this Dubravka, Mane from Wolves, Cash, and Mukiele. Yeah, probably. It's not the worst bench boost. We saw that Crystal Palace, they didn't really impress against Brentford on Sunday. There's something going on at Crystal Palace, so it might be a good game for Burnley. Mukiele has done well recently. Cash, I think that Aston Villa, they are probably a bit underrated. A solid game playing against Brighton as well. And you have a player, a starter for a double game week team. So of course, Wolves not the best fixtures for Wolves, but I think this potentially is worth a bench boost. Against Brighton, to correct you there, not Brentford. Sorry. Pretty sure Arsenal kept more clean sheets away from home than at home this season. You might be right about that. I'm not really sure if they kept more clean sheets at home or away. Might be something in the tactics for Arteta to play even more defensively away, of course, and this will benefit the defenders. good point made by FPL Cortex. So playing 2 away games could actually be beneficial for Arsenal in this double game week. Radical Gavriluta, hi, can you look at my team and tell me if I should make any transfers? Sorry, I will have a look at your team. 3 free transfers, nothing in the bank. Let's have a look. Sandra, have a look on my mini league. Of course, we'll have a look at your mini league as well. See how you did against your opponent, Arsenal FC, this game week as well. But this is Radu Gaviluta's team. Green arrow, from what I can see, 81 points. That's a really good game week by Radu Gaviluta this game week. Bruno Fernandes, captain. Cole Palmer is in. Nice. Let's see if we can get this a bit more centered like that. That's better. FPL Cortex, they're more solid away from home for sure, and at home they're more free and they got the crowd behind them as well. So good point made by FPL Cortex, saying that Arsenal, they have actually done even better playing away, especially when we consider their defense kept more clean sheets away. I haven't really checked the numbers, but I trust that this probably is correct. So going with only one Arsenal defender, we discussed this earlier on the stream as well. I think it's a big risk involved in not at least having 2 Arsenal defenders this game week. So there will be FPL managers with 4 Arsenal defenders. Maybe Gabriel's ownership will go above 150, so will be a big hit to your rank if you don't cover the Arsenal defense. Hi, if you had to take a punt using 1 free transfer on Sar or Munoz and hold until game week 31, which one would you choose? I think both of them are good options. I think it kind of depends on who you're transferring out, probably. So let me know which players are you considering to sell in defense and in your midfield to make those moves. What I like about Sar is the ownership. I haven't checked ahead of game week 26, but ahead of game week 25, Sar's ownership was only 2.5%, so a big differential. I know that Munoz, because of the injury, his ownership went down as well, so I like both of them. At the moment, Sar would probably be my favorite, especially considering the fact that he might potentially be on penalties for Crystal Palace at the moment. So with this team, 3 free transfers, nothing in the bank. So it's a double up on Arsenal. Sanchez, Ingle, Gabriel, Rice, Bruno Fernandes, Semenyo, Haaland, Igor Thiago. So something to consider with this team, seeing that you only have a double up on Arsenal, is potentially to bring in Gyökeres. We have discussed this earlier as well. Igor Thiago, he can potentially become Gyökeres. You would have to downgrade. You would probably have to downgrade Senesi, but Bournemouth, they have really good fixtures. So in the chat, Dorgu out, Hill in. You can potentially save. I think Hill is still only priced at 3.9, so you can save some funds with downgrading Dorgu to Hill. I don't really think this is a downgrade, especially considering Dorgu is injured, but to bring in Gyökeres for Igor Thiago, I haven't really checked the price gap between them. Just give me a minute. Gyökeres 8.7. So you need more funds for bringing in Gyökeres. So Cole Palmer, he is probably a keep at this point. You already have Rice. Gabriel is in, Bruno Fernandes, definitely a keep. Wouldn't sell Igor Thiago. The second option, I would say, wouldn't sell Thiago. Good fixtures next week, yeah. Tough game for Igor Thiago this game week, but as mentioned in the chat, Brentford actually have good fixtures coming up, so you want Igor Thiago back pretty much immediately, though, from game week 27 and onwards, yeah. So no easy way to bring in another Arsenal. So another possibility is, seeing that you already have Sanchez, you can potentially let Chalobah go. Something like Dorgu to Hill, Chalobah to Saliba. Who would you play out of Holland, Krupa Jr. and Joe Pedro? I would start Holland at home against Fulham and Joe Pedro, I'd say, if you have to start two of them. If you only have to play one, I would definitely start Erling Haaland. I know that he hasn't looked good. Was maybe a bit fortunate, of course, in game week 25 against Liverpool, but he had a couple of other big chances, could have scored early on in that game as well. So I think that Erling Haaland definitely should start. fplcommunity, great fixtures ahead. This is Igor Thiago and Brentford, so I agree it's maybe not a good idea to sell Igor Thiago, and it's really hard to upgrade Igor Thiago to Gyökeres either way. So definitely just keep Igor Thiago. Thoughts on Calafiori? Best replacement for Keane, money no factor. Thoughts on Calafiori? I think Calafiori is decent, but I think there are safer options at this point. I actually like Saliba, even though it's probably a bit boring, but I can actually see Calafiori only starting one of the games in the double, so that would be a bit frustrating. It's not like he is cheap. He's 0.8 cheaper compared to Timber, but Calafiori is expensive as well, so for that kind of money, you would like to have a starter that will play every game week and close to 90 minutes as well. So of course there is the factor about the defensive contributions as well, and you would like your defenders to play close to 90 minutes. I can actually see, considering or because of the injuries to Calafiori, he can potentially see limited minutes. Best replacement for Keane, money no factor from Isaac Mags. It kind of depends. Are you already triple up on Arsenal? If not, I think that bringing in another Arsenal asset probably is a good idea. If you're already triple up on Arsenal, I think that Munoz from Crystal Palace is a good punt from game week 26 and all the way until game week 31. So Man City, Crystal Palace, they will blank in game week 31 most probably. So together with Arsenal and Wolves, we know that Wolves and Arsenal, they will definitely blank, and high chances for Man City and Crystal Palace to blank as well. Already triple up. I really like Munoz, to be honest, if you're already triple up on Arsenal. So let's have a look at Luxurt. I'm using my free hit, and I was thinking of taking out Timber for Gyökeres. Yeah, on a free hit, I like the idea of bringing in Gyökeres, to be honest. There is, of course, a risk that he will probably not play 90 minutes in both games in double game with 26, but he will play up front, he will be in the box, he will get a lot of chances. Potentially on penalties as well, with no Saka, no Ødegaard. So I think I'm leaning towards, if I were on a free hit, I would probably have Gyökeres as well. I think I have said this a couple of times, but for if you newly joined the chat, I think that one of the reasons why Gyökeres is not that much talked about is the fact that a lot of FPL managers are already tripled up on Arsenal, and when we decided on our Arsenal players, Gyökeres wasn't really an option. But he has looked good recently. I think that he will start in game week, in the first game in double game week 26, and he will get minutes against Wolves. Will he start both? I'm not really sure, but he will get decent minutes. Is 6 game week 31 blankers manageable, though? I already have Sar. So you can, of course, carry 3 of them on the bench in blank game week 31, and you will get free transfers as well. So as long as you start focusing on setting your team up for game week 31, I think it's still time to take a punt on Munoz this game week, even though it gives you 6 blankers. You can potentially, of course, play your free hit as well if you already have your free hit available. Then you don't really have to focus on selling the blankers in blank game week 31. Can keep the likes of Erling Haaland a bit longer. So let's see. Radu Gaviluta. So Dorgu to Mosquera, and that's it. You can potentially sell Dorgu to bring in Mosquera, of course. So Garner will most probably be on your bench. Mane, I think you should start Mane, and you can... I think I still like the idea of tripling up on Arsenal, so I still like Dorgu to Hill and Shalaba to Saliba. But of course, if you want to save and have an extra transfer going forward, another option is, of course, to sell Dorgu to bring in Mosquera. The thing is that there is a risk involved in bringing in Mosquera, because if he picks up a yellow card in the first game, he might potentially miss the second game in double game week 26. So it might be a single game week for Mosquera. The thing that I like about him is the fact that he actually has a bit of attacking threat, and he can pick up defensive contributions. So at that price, I think it's a good idea to just take a punt. The safest option to cover the Wolves' defense is probably the goalkeeper, Jose Sa, but I think it's probably a bit boring. He can pick up defense. I'm sorry, he can pick up save points, of course, but Mosquera is a bit more of a punt. Oh, 0.1 million short. Was this the Hill and Saliba move? You can potentially bring in, if you're 0.1 short, you can potentially bring in Gudmundsson instead. At least I would consider doing this to triple up on the Arsenal defense, and you will play Gabriel and Saliba most game weeks, and you will have Senesi, Michele on the bench in a solid rotation. Can I have a look, Sandri? I will. Let's check. Let's check the league. So this is Sandri's team, 71 points. Beat me with 1 point this game week. So a green arrow for Sandri. Overall rank 420. Still in a solid position. Bruno Fernandes captain, Richards in defense. Nice double up on Arsenal with Gabriel Raya. Rice is in there as well. Started Elliot Anderson. Bruno Guimaraes on the bench. Of course, a bit frustrating. He was yellow flagged, wasn't he? All the way until the deadline, but he started. Did well for Newcastle. 71 points, which is nice. So we have had a look at this mini league on every stream. The Abyssnet Superiori. So let's see what it looks like ahead of double game week 26. So it's 71 points for Sandri, 51, so a new 20 points to add to the top of the league for Sandri. I think you definitely will win this one. 71 points. Solid score, 51. He actually got the worst score in your league this game week, Arsenal FC. So close to 70 points ahead of your opponent. But we're only in game week 26, still a lot of game weeks to go, so everything can happen in this league. But hopefully you can see him off and win the Superiori, Abyssnet Superiori mini league. So this is the TFS mini league, live mini league. So if you're interested, you can join. The link is in the description down below. It's in the scrolling text at the bottom as well. James Pitts, your worst nightmare, is on top. Edwin is second. I'm taking the third spot. FPL FOMO is in at 6th. Nørgaard is better than Subimendi at 7th with Magnus. So at the bottom we see Rafa Wilk. I'm not really sure if you joined this cup. Undisputed champion, undefeated. I'm not sure if you joined the TFS Live League. Do you like start at 0 points or something? We have a team that really stands out at the bottom. Please let me know if you're in the chat. So in that 20th spot we have my Wilk 55, 258 points. It's a bit strange seeing that all of the other teams actually have 800 and above. Not really sure what happened. So let me know if you find your name in the league. Let me know in the chat. Radu Gaviluta, Garner to Subimendi, and Dorgu to Mosquera. Ooh. That could actually be the solution. I'm not a big fan of Subimendi, but considering the fixtures, he has actually scored a couple of goals recently as well. Not a big fan of Subimendi when it comes to FPL because of his role in that team, but recently he has looked a bit more threatening going forward, and the fact that he has scored a couple of goals will potentially give him the confidence to try scoring even more. So Garner to Subimendi, Dorgu to Mosquera. This will give you 4 extra fixtures for double game week 26 as well. So if you can afford Garner to Subimendi, Dorgu to Mosquera, that's definitely something to consider. I still like Saliba though, so Dorgu to Gudmundsson, Shalaba to Saliba. Of course, Shalaba is not a definite sell. You can, of course, keep Shalaba in your team, but I like the idea of Garner to Subimendi, Dorgu to Mosquera as well, to be honest. Zachary Brook, if I already have 3 City, 3 Arsenal, should I bring in Munoz? Or are there too many blanks for me in game week 31? So we will have 7 blankers for blank game week 31. Kind of depends how many transfers you have at this point. You can potentially set up a chip strategy and use your free hit in game week 31 if you still have your free hit intact. So if you use the free hit in game week 31, you can start using your transfers to set up for a nice double game week 33 team. So I have 2 now. Do you still have your free hit? So I have actually made a video on chip strategy. My chip strategy will be to use my transfers and dead end into game week 31. Another option is to actually use the free hit in game week 31, and if you decide to use the free hit in game week 31, you will potentially have a solid team for game week 33, because we know at this point that Crystal Palace and Man City, they will most probably double in game week 33, and you can start preparing, bringing in players from the teams that will have 2 fixtures in double game week 33 as well. So if you decide to go for Munoz, you can potentially bring in the likes of Sar as well and go all in on those players. They have really good fixtures, and by playing your free hits, you will avoid the blank in game week 31. I think this is really good use of the chips. So that's one strategy to consider. What do you think of Guehi playtime? I think Guehi at this point looks like one of the best defenders, to be honest. I was a bit surprised seeing that he is already starting games. So it took actually Guardiola 4 months to start games for Man City a couple of seasons ago, but you can see that Pep Guardiola, he really trusts Guehi, so he is actually a decent option. The only thing about Guehi is the fact that he has really high ownership, and of course, it is still Pep Guardiola. They will have players returning from injury at some point as well. John Stones can get back Nathan Ake as well, so I think if you have Guehi, he's probably a keep unless you have a plan to like upgrade him to someone like Munoz or another Arsenal defender. But if you have Guehi in your team at this point, he's probably a keep, as I expect him to start most games for Man City in the next fixtures. So let's have a quick look at my team again. I will most probably just save my transfer this game week. There we go. Any questions for the Brighton expert? We actually have Brighton fan in the chat, so if you have any questions about Brighton, ask in the chat. Football and stuff, he actually called a couple of times. Pascal Gross did well for Brighton in recent game weeks. Usually it's right when it comes to Welbeck, if he starts or not as well. So if you have any Brighton questions, go ahead and ask in the chat. I'm not really considering Brighton players at the moment. They are one of the teams that potentially can double in double game week 33. So at some point, Brighton assets might once again become interesting. But let's have a quick look at Brighton fixtures. So in game week 26, let's have a look. Brighton. So Aston Villa away, not the best fixture. Then they have Brentford away, so 2 away games for Brighton coming up. At home against Nottingham Forest, this game looks good in game week 28 for Brighton. Then they have Arsenal at home. So even though it's at home, it's Arsenal, so not to be considered as a good fixture for Brighton. Then they have Sunderland away, Liverpool at home, Burnley. I'm not really loving those fixtures for Brighton. In game week 36, it looks a bit better than they have Wolves at home, Leeds away, Man United at home. So potentially at the end of the season, and if they get a double in game week 33, I will consider someone like Welbeck and Pascal Gross, but at the moment, Ayari back, pretty sure. Van Hecke also, I think. You think Van Hecke will start? I will definitely just bench Van Hecke, but I actually started Van Hecke in game week 25, so a bit frustrating when I saw the lineups and the fact that he missed out in game week 25. Would most probably have just gotten 2 points, so not that big of a deal. Welbeck starts on Wednesday 100%. So football and stuff, he has been correct on his predictions when it comes to Welbeck starting or not. So Welbeck potentially, or most probably, I would say, a starter on Wednesday. But as mentioned, I'm not really loving the fixtures for Brighton. I might actually at some point consider selling Van Hecke if other options stands out. I can potentially downgrade Van Hecke to someone like Hill if I want to upgrade in other areas as well. Brandon Shan, what's your overall rank? My overall rank at this point is 640k. Small green arrow, I think it was from 660 down to 640 this game week. I started the season terribly. This year was like 9.6 million after the first game week. Only one return in game week 1, and it was Van de Ven. Started the season with players like Saka, Cole Palmer. I actually had Konsa in as well, picked up a red card in game week 1. Had Jared Bowen up front. He blanked against Sunderland. So really frustrating start, but at least 640 is probably decent considering the terrible start. I'm an FPL Pro all round. Do you think I can finish top 100k come the end of the season? So you have the same rank as me, right? Football and stuff, was it 660, you said? Something like that. Senesi to Hill, Shalaba to Timber. Things that Senesi, he has good fixtures coming up, but if you bring in Timber, you'll most probably play him week in, week out. So you also had Mukiele, right? So you have decent cover on the bench. So I definitely like Timber better as the last Arsenal player compared to Subimendi. I'm not a big fan of selling Senesi, but don't really see Senesi as essential. So definitely something to consider. Senesi to Hill, 3.9 Bournemouth defender nailed on. So we still cover the Bournemouth defense, and you bring in a solid option from Arsenal. So yeah, I actually like this option. So this is my team ahead of double game week 26. I have 2 free transfers, 0.1 in the bank. For double game week players, I have Mosquera in. Gabriel, Timber, triple captain is active at the moment on Rice. The rest of the midfield is Enzo Fernandez, Rogers, Bruno Fernandes, Elliot Anderson up front, Erling Haaland, Jared Bowen. I'm actually leaning towards just saving my transfer. I think this team is probably good enough. I have another decision to make. It's not just the captaincy. Will I go for Timber? Will I go for Gabriel? It's also the fact that in this team, I'm actually starting Elliot Anderson ahead of Igor Thiago. I was 500k last week, took a punt on captaining Cole Palmer, and it went to 200k. Best of luck, bro. Nice. I love when a captain differential goes in. So well done on captaining Cole Palmer. Of course, a bit lucky scoring a first half hat trick, but 98 points. Nice. So a really solid green arrow for Brandon Chan in game week 25. Best of luck for double game week 26 as well. Hopefully your team are good to go. Can you deactivate the triple captain? Yeah. So you have this option to, I'm not sure if you can see this on the screen at the moment. It's probably, yeah, you can see it. It's on the bottom. You can cancel the triple captain at any point ahead of the deadline. So this is my team. Triple captain activated on Rice. So I will have a deadline stream tomorrow as well. We will get some more information during the day, so I will give updates on player availability as well. At the moment, Gyökeres, he is the most transferred in player. Harry Wilson, Igor Thiago, Saka the most transferred out. Arsenal, definitely the favorites to keep a clean sheet this game week. 72% chance of at least one clean sheet against Brentford and Wolves. I think having at least 2 Arsenal players definitely makes sense this game week. I think it's a big risk with only 1 Arsenal player. Do you think this team can get 100 points? Sanchez, O'Reilly, Gabriel, triple captain, Timber, Senesi, Rice, Bruno Fernandes, Garner, Enzo, Haaland, Krupi Jr. How many points do you think this team will get? So it's definitely doable to get 100 points, especially considering that you're playing your triple captain in a double game week. So it kind of depends on Gabriel and Arsenal and the Arsenal defense, how many points they will get. But definitely doable to get into the 100 points club with triple captain this game week. I have said this a couple of times. I think it's a big risk with having only 1, even 2. I'm actually thinking that I'm taking a risk with this team by not captaining Gabriel myself. I'm leaning towards taking a punt on Rice, even though the safest option would probably be to just triple captain Gabriel. The reason why I have my triple captain activated is because of my chip strategy. And I have made a video about chip strategy. It's linked in the description down below. So if you're interested in watching that chip strategy video, that would be really appreciated. But the reason why I think that using the triple captain this game week makes sense is the fact that Arsenal, they have everything to play for this game week. The next good game week will be double game week 33. This will be the biggest double game week so far this season. So I will most probably use my bench boost in 33 and in double game week 36, which is the last double game week this season. We might potentially see teams on the beach. So this means that they don't have that much to play for. We might see more rotation. We might see teams like Man City focus on the FA Cup or Champions League. So triple captain, game week 26. I think there is a reason why this is a popular strategy. So if you're interested in watching that free hit video, in that chip strategy video, it's linked in the description. I have made a video about wildcard and free hits ahead of double game week 26 as well. So if you're interested, check it out. So I will have another stream tomorrow as well ahead of the deadline. Hopefully I'll see you there. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. 3,300 plus subscribers at this point. That's really, really great. So I post weekly team selection videos, have Q&As always the night before every deadline, and deadline streams as well. So if you're interested, subscribe to the channel. So we will get a bit more information during daytime tomorrow, so we'll give updates on the next stream. Thanks all for joining in, and if I don't see you tomorrow, best of luck for double game week 26. My team is close to locked in. I'm not really considering any transfers, but I have a decision to make. Will I triple captain Gabriel or Rice? And will I start Elliot Anderson or Igor Thiago? Have to make a decision on this tomorrow. But as mentioned, thanks all for joining in, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. MK joining in at the end. Thanks for joining in. Let's have a look at your team before logging off. MK, I just joined the stream. Now can you tell me what transfers to do to my team? It's Raya, Dubravka, Gudmundsson, Van Dijk, Tarkovsky, Shalaba, Gabriel, Rice, Rogers, King, Bruno, Enzo, Thiago, Ekitiki, and Holland. So this was all of the team, right? 2 free transfers, 0.4 in the bank. FPL Lisa, bye. Thanks for joining in as always, FPL Lisa. And if you're interested in having other inspirational videos for your free hits or wildcards, I could really recommend her videos. It's usually close to my takes on free hits and wildcards. But sometimes a bit different as well, and some really interesting differentials from FPL Lisa. But let's have a look at this team from MK. I started reading this as it was the starting 11, so I need to have a quick look. So Raya in goal, so Dubravka is on the bench. Gudmundsson on the bench as well. Van Dijk against Sunderland should probably start. Tarkovsky, Shalaba, Gabriel. So it's Van Dijk, Shalaba, Gabriel in defense with Tarkovsky, Gudmundsson on the bench, Rice, Rogers, King on the bench, Bruno Fernandes, Enzo, Thiago, Ekitike, Holland up front. So a triple up already on Arsenal with Raya and Gabriel, Rice in midfield. So no need to bring in an Arsenal player. I think this team probably is good to go. What I'm doing is actually I'm benching Thiago to play Elliot Anderson. I would not bench Thiago to play King, the Fulham midfielder. So you should probably just start Igor Thiago. Hugo Dean, triple captain Rice. I'm actually triple captaining Rice. Leaning towards triple captaining Rice for double game week 26. But MK, I think your team is probably good to go 2 free transfers. Already triple up on Arsenal. You can, of course, consider something like Tarkovsky to Munoz, but it kind of depends on your chip strategy as well. Munoz, really good fixtures coming up. Be aware that he will have a blank in game week 31. So a potential upgrade Is Tarkovsky to Munoz? Will potentially give you a bit of a benching headache in defense. You can potentially actually sell Tarkovsky, bring in Munoz, and bench Igor Thiago. So Thiago first bench with King and Gudmundsson. Start Van Dijk, start Munoz, Chalobah, Gabriel. I was thinking Ekitike to Mbumo using 2 free transfers. Ekitike to... So Ekitike to... Who? Ekitike. So Ekitike is classified as a forward, Mbumo midfielder, right? So we need to use both transfers for this. Hugo Dean, captaining Rice is banking on Arsenal conceding in both. Can't see it. You're probably right. It would be a bit of a blow if Arsenal keep 2 clean sheets, considering the effective ownership of Gabriel in double game with 26. He will be massively captained, triple captained as well. Can actually see his effective ownership. Will probably be the highest effective ownership we have seen from a defender so far this season. We have seen Erling Haaland reach 200% effective ownership. I'm not expecting Gabriel to see those numbers, but at least he can potentially go above 150. Orange Apple, hey bro, how are you? Sorry for not joining sooner. Going to Costa Rica tomorrow, so I'm unpacking. Nice. No worries. Hopefully you have set your FPL team up for double game week 26, even though you're busy packing for your trip to Costa Rica. Sounds lovely. Going to Costa Rica. Orange Apple, just a small thank you. Thanks. You are actually on the Hall of Fame for the Super Chats. You are actually the only member of the Hall of Fame at the moment. Gabriel Triple Captain is confirmed to me. I have a decision to make when it comes to the Triple Captain. I have mostly decided that I will play the Triple Captain this game week. I think double game week 26 probably is the best game week for the Triple Captain. Will I use it on Rice? Will I use it on Gabriel? Haven't really decided yet. I think Gabriel is definitely the safest option. I have been talking about this a couple of times earlier on this stream as well. The thing is that going for a differential in Rice, he will play close to 90 minutes in both games. He has a lot of routes to goals. He will take corners, free kicks, can pick up defensive contributions, can of course chip in with goals as well, as we saw in, was it game week 20 where he got a brace? My rank at the moment 640k. I need to take a couple of risks soon, and hopefully I will gain some rank at some point. MK, my first option, Ekitike to Krupi or Mane, and King to Mbumo. Second option, Tarkovsky to Munoz. Could be Ekitike to Mane, King to Mbumo. This would give you a benching headache for double game in 26, but with your team, I'm not really sure if bringing in Mane is worth it at this point, because you will have to bench another really good player for him in double game week 26, and your single game week player might outscore Mane easily next game week. So I think I like just using one of the transfers. Tarkovsky to Munoz could be a really good move. solid fixtures for Crystal Palace coming up. They kept a clean sheet in game week 25 as well. So Tarkovsky to Munoz. I think Rice is predicted ever so slightly more points, so I don't hate it. Would you be happy to hold Thiago for now? Or should I do something like Thiago to Strand Larsen? I don't really think that Igor Thiago will do well. I'm considering to bench Igor Thiago. So this, I just said I have a decision to make on the triple captaincy. Will I go for Rice or will I go for Gabriel? My second decision to make ahead of the deadline is actually to find out which players will drop to the bench. At the moment, I have Igor Thiago on the bench and I'm starting Elliot Anderson. I might actually bench Anderson and play Igor Thiago, but I need to take a couple of risks considering Igor Thiago's ownership. I think taking a punt on benching him is a good idea for double game week 26. So Rice or Gabriel triple captain and start Elliot Anderson or Igor Thiago. At the moment, I have went for both differential options, benching Igor Thiago, triple captaining Rice. Would you be happy to hold Igor Thiago? I would definitely be happy to hold Igor Thiago. So started by saying that I don't rate his fixture in game week 26, but Igor Thiago and Brentford actually have really good fixtures coming up. He is a talisman, 90 minutes man on penalties. So keeping Igor Thiago, it's a big yes from me. Only thing is, I'd say is Thiago is fairly fixture proof, but can't see why you'd bench him. Yeah, I would definitely just keep Igor Thiago. The thing is that it has been a bit frustrating for me. I haven't started Elliot Anderson in any of the last game weeks where he actually has picked up points. So it would be really typical FPL if Elliot Anderson actually blanks in game week 26. But my rank, as mentioned, 640k. I need to be a bit different going forward, and I think that benching Igor Thiago in game week 26 is a calculated risk. Going for Rice with a triple captain is another risk I'm, at least for now, willing to take to be a bit different. Brave to go for a Wolves defender. Yeah, so when we got the fixtures in the EFL Cup, I predicted that Wolves and Arsenal would have a double game week this game week. So all of those predictions went in. So I actually brought Mosquera in a couple of game weeks ago in anticipation of a potential double. So I knew I would have Van Heck and Van de Ven with kind of tricky fixtures this game week. So this is the reason why I went Mosquera. I'm not sure how often I will play Mosquera, to be honest, but at least it's a bit of a punt and a fun player to own for double game week 26. The thing is that he actually has some attacking threat, can pick up defensive contributions, so hopefully it will be more than 2 points for Mosquera this game week. So the thing is with Mosquera is the fact that he actually, if he picks up a yellow card against Arsenal, he will miss the second game in a double game week. So it might actually be a single game week for Mosquera. So I'm not really considering any transfers. I have 2 free transfers, 0.1 in the bank. My decisions is about the triple captaincy and the benching of Elliot Anderson or Igor Thiago. So I will have deadline stream tomorrow as well. So if you're interested, join in on that one as well. If not, best of luck for double game week 26. I'm not expecting Orange Apple to join in, but have a lovely trip to Costa Rica. So what's the temperature? Temperature over at Costa Rica should be nice summer heat in Costa Rica at the moment. Winter in Norway, longing for a bit more sun. Who do you like the most for a 4.1 or less? Alderete, Hill, Justin. I think Hill, considering the fixtures for Bournemouth, he would probably be my favorite out of those. We have discussed Hill earlier on this stream as well. Only priced at 3.9. I think that he is really good value and he looks nailed on for Bournemouth. Sadly, will be mid-flight for the deadline. Should be around 27 degrees-ish. So hopefully a good time. All the best, lad. So have a lovely trip. Best of luck for double game week 26. I said like 15 minutes ago that I was logging off. I will do now. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Join in on the deadline stream tomorrow. And if you don't, best of luck for double game week 26.